As you probably know, Wargaming promised us 15 buffs to premium tanks in World of Tanks. That is pretty nifty because Wargaming already buffed 4: SDG, Super Pershing, T34 Free and the STA2. And so far it sounds like those were very nice. In today's video we have 4 new premium tanks getting announced for buffs, and these are the Senlac, the M41 D, the T92 and the ISU-130. And as you probably see, one is not like the other. But let's just jump into the M41 D. The M41 D is in a weird spot anyway right now in the game. It is very, how should we say, not in the meta. In the meta right now you either want to have armor, a very good gun, or speed. I am speed. And that is what the EPRs are usually telling you. Now, Wargaming saw that problem and decided to say, you know what? Why not give light tanks a little bit more view range to counter the wheelie boys? And that is exactly what they did with the M41D. 390 meters of view range is not that nice for a light tank anyway. And I know the Batchatillon 12T is crying in a corner. But Wargaming decided to buff this to 410 meters. But this is not all. The M41D has a pretty decent gun, It is a good gun platform, even though the gun could be a little bit more snappy, but the DPM is already fair enough. The tank got a little bit of a speed buff as well. 22 kph in reverse is now 24 kph. 65 kph top speed is now 68. And this is actually a very decent and thought through buff in my opinion. And you know why? The tank does not like getting into good positions quickly. It is rather chubby. And that is makes kind of sense. It's an American tank after all. But I really do like that Wargaming decided to give him a little bit more speed, so to compensate for its lackluster camouflage, so it can get into good position just a tiny touch better and being able to counter enemy light tanks a little bit more effectively. It will definitely not make the tank OP or amazing or anything. It still has a decent-ish gun with low alpha but good penetration, and it's still big, it is still chunky, and it's thick. So yeah, I do like the changes, but it definitely will not make this tank OP or, in any way meta. Let's jump to the Senlac, the FV1066, the oddball, the tank which doesn't really fit the light tank British tree. Or basically it is what we wanted from the British light tank tree, but we never got. Wargaming also touched on 2 topics. The accuracy, which is now from 0.38, which is quite derpy, I even noticed it in my short play session, and to 0.35, which is nice, now it is a little bit more accurate, that is nice. And Wargaming decided to give it also more view range from 400 to 410 meters, which is a nice little buff, giving the tank just the little more edge, being able to passively outspot other tanks, because yes, the Senlac compared to the LHMTV, the Gzor or the Manticore, the Mightycore rather, it doesn't have good camouflage for a light tank because it's big, it's height, and it's chunky, But when we are already talking about the Senlac, as you probably have seen in the background of the video right now, we've played Prokhorovka, and I kind of have a feeling Wargaming wants to give normal tracked lights a little bit more view range. Why exactly? Because I feel like this is Wargaming's way to try and counter the EBRs, which have low-ish view ranges but potent guns. Which makes sense in my opinion. They're fast, have low view range, and now maybe let's give the normal tracked lights a little bit more view range so they can take either something else to boost their survivability, in the sense of having, for example, more camo breaking, or just in general more gun stats. And this might be a very good test bed, with those 2 premium light tanks. On the other hand, when we already have Prokhorovka, I want to discuss this a little bit more. I feel like a lot of people still didn't adjust to the fact that now EBRs exist. And sadly enough, the enemy team is an amazing example for that, as you probably have seen. The GSR as well as the ELC even 90, which is in my opinion a little bit of a brain dead scout, you know, just wank in your bush and be happy. They both YOLO'd the E1 noob trap, and as you could see, they both got spotted. One, funnily enough, the premium scout, dies afterwards. The other one sadly survives, thanks to my less than stellar teammates. But this is a position I now take when I try to counter EBRs or try to stop EBRs countering me. And I think it would be a very juicy video to discuss how to properly scout on Prokhorovka. Yes, sure, I do mistakes myself. That is definitely the case. But I feel like I do have nailed down how to counter early spotting attempts by the enemy trying to go into this noob trap on E1. Write me in the comment section down below if you would be interested in such a video. Luckily enough, we already have a replay for that. At least for one side. Now let's move to the last scout, and that is the T92, the American weird thingamajiggs. Like seriously, I don't know, even in War Thunder, I don't know what I should be thinking of this tank. It is fun in War Thunder, but in World of Tanks it's lackluster, you know. So I'm a little bit confused why World of Tanks decides to buff its penetration. 175 to 185, 89 millimeters. Nah. You know, on the basic shell, premium shell from 210 to 230. When I was playing this tank, I never really felt like the penetration was the issue. Again, with heat, I can penetrate tier 8 heavy tanks from the front, and that is a scout. I would have much rather had a little bit more DPM and dash or a more quick aiming gun. It does feel like for having such a PSU that the gun still takes quite a considerable time to aim in. And one last thing is, and that is a little bit about the mobility of the tank, it wobbles. It wobbles hard. You step on the pedal, whoop. You stop, whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's very annoying, and it's very frustrating actually to use, because it feels like it throws your aim everywhere except where you are aiming at. I know it's nitpicky, but I feel like this could be a nice change if they would just make the, you know, more stable. And lastly, we have the ISU-130. For the people which don't know, this tank right now I think is forum mod as well as Twitch mod exclusive. So you couldn't buy it except on NA, but on EU it is forum and Twitch mod exclusive. And that is interesting, because the tank isn't really that cool. It is an ISU with a 130mm gun. Yeah, call me shocked. That's what the 130 is in its name. The thing is, it is interesting as it has a 490 alpha gun with 215 base penetration, which is now getting buffed to 238, and the premium round, which has 570 alpha but lower pen, as you can see 187, but this is getting buffed to 212. Now it also gets a buffed base shell velocity and a HE shell velocity buff. And the traverse angles get buffed as well from 2 and 10 degrees to 10 and 10 degrees. So you have a better arc of shooting at people, you know. Right now it was something like this, now it's something like this, which is nice, you know. And it gets a better engine with 600 horsepower, giving it more HP per ton ratio, as well as 10 rounds more. So this is an oddball to me. Why would they buff the ISU-130 out of nowhere? Especially if it is just a gift for Twitch moderators, you know, a novelty gift. It's like the AFK Panther, it's not good, it's just a novelty. And then I kind of have to imagine, might it be a new tank for the Bond Shop, you know? The Bond Shop should be getting reiterated after this last ranked season, which I also did a video about, on which you could watch to get some tips and tricks. I do feel like Wargaming kind of gave out the ISU-130 to the EU people to see how it performs, you know, on a more active server, sorry NA, and to see if it is any good. And they notice, no, it's not. Even though it has very good gun handling, yeah, it could be a little bit better, especially the pen is lacking. So, with that out of the way, it would make sense to make this tank unique and special in the sense of just making it Bond Shop exclusive. Don't you think so? Let me know in the comment section below what your prediction is for the ISU-130. Maybe Wargaming just buys it, sells it, you know. It's a company, they want to make money after all. I still kind of wish for the SU-122-54 or the Object 263B or the Object 430B on the bond shop, by the way, Wargaming. Please. But yeah, that is everything I'm having for you today. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment with a thumbs up. It massively helps out the channel by tricking the algorithm to think that it's a good video, which it is. Cheers and have a great day. I see you around.